This week's episode of That 4x4 Show, we look at 4x4s that won't cost you an arm and a leg. 4x4s that you wouldn't mind taking into the bush and scratching just a little. We also look at a new trail at the Runner Park. But let's look at some back to the future 4x4s. A certain Mr. Dave Beeson from Pietermaritzburg recently wrote on our Facebook page complaining that we overpaid city boys that know nothing about 4x4. So in this episode, just for you Mr. Beeson, we are gonna take some proper 4x4s off-road. Just for you.
Dave has a point. Not everyone can or wants to spend hundreds of thousands of rands on upgrades and accessories and whatnot. And what if you scratch your 750,000 rands work of art in the bush? Yo, mama will be upset. What if you just want a boss goods that will take you and your loved ones on the occasional overlanding or 4x4 trip and that won't cause your bank manager to land up in the ER with an anxiety issues?
Hello Dave, look what I found. This is a 92 solid front axle Toyota, and as far as 4x4s go, this can do the whole 9 yards.
The original solid front axle Hilux was also the first mainstream double cab bakkie in South Africa, and it was on sale here between 1980 and 1998. In that time, the Hilux managed to turn a traditional commercial vehicle into a family vehicle, offering seating for 5 persons. However, comfort was never a major SFA attribute. That solid front axle suspension is rock hard. On the flip side, it is extremely hardy and reliable setup, but it's also very capable off-road, even without lockers. So the SFA Hilux is tough as public protector Thuli Madonsela, but it does have a bit of a drinking habit, and the 2.2-liter 4-cylinder engine is not exactly bursting at the seams with kilowatts. The engine delivered 70 kilowatts and 182 Newton meters of torque, which is, by today's standards, a bit dismal. But here's owner Wikus van Zyl to tell us more about his SFA.
It's got 340,000 Ks on. I've had it for 6 years.
Okay.
It's 2.2, modified the engine to just make it fuel injection, a little bit more performance, better fuel consumption.
What do you like, what don't you like about your bakkie?
The only thing I don't like about it is just that it drives a little bit
Suspension,
hard.
obviously.
Yeah, the suspension, yeah.
Okay,
It's,
must
because
just get a
it's
kidney belt.
Yeah. No, if you get older, you're going to need one. But I love it. I love everything about it. Namibia, Botswana, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, South Africa, almost done all of it.
Okay, stuck, unstuck?
A little stuck, it's part of the fun.
But what if you want something a little bit more comfortable, more modern, with a little bit more wooma? Then we have just the ticket.
So just in case you're looking for something slightly more comfortable on-road, maybe off-road again, you don't want to be wearing a kidney belt like Wikus the whole time, here's a KZTE, independent front suspension.
She's beautiful, eh? Too pretty. Anyway, this is the IFS Hilux. On sale between 1998 and 2005, the IFS had a better on-road comfort, and with the 3-liter KZTE turbo diesel engine, enough horses too. The 4-cylinder engine delivered 85 kilowatts and 315 Newton meters of torque. For reliability's sakes, I've left the mechanics as is, but I did go a little bit mal with the rest of the trockey.
So I got the bakkie 5 years ago for 129,000. What I've done on the bakkie, I've added mud terrain tires, 35-inch Maxis. Engine is still standard. I've got a custom-made kitchen, a rooftop tent, awning, and I've cut up the rear seat, making way for a fridge. So it's just me, my partner, and my puppy, and that's it. On the mods, what I've spent so far, I would say about 80,000. But if you have to buy the bakkie as is now, not that I'm selling, they range 120,000. Well, a lot of people would know in the 4x4 industry, you're not gonna get what you paid for, especially for your accessories. So, you know, it's a loss if you look at it that way, but I'm not selling.
But what if neither the SFA or IFS Hilux impressed you? What if you reckon they are both as old as last month's bread? This Hilux, also known as the Vigo, was launched in 2005, and essentially it's exactly the same Hilux that is still on sale here today, 9 years later. Also featuring an independent front suspension, this time coils instead of torsion bars. The Vigo comes with Toyota's infamously famous D4D turbo diesel engines. Compared to the older KZTE diesel, the D4D is way more modern, powerful, and drinks less fuel. The KZTE has much more character, and besides, the Vigo has a bit of a soft reputation. So you apparently need to add a few extras before Thuli Madonsela would approve. Here's the owner, Mark Schubert, who shall explain this initial lack of Madonsela-ness.
2.5 D4D, a few engine modifications that I've done, intercooler, chip, and a free flow exhaust.
Okay. Did you go bigger or just?
No, just a little bit bigger. Motor and tires and a couple of accessories that I've added.
If I may ask, how much did you pay for it? Can you remember?
About 6 years ago, it's a 2005 model, 180,000.
Okay. And then any reason why not the KZTE? I mean, I've got a, you know.
I think it's just a little bit more comfortable, maybe a bit lighter on fuel, and we do a lot of long distance traveling, my family and myself.
Okay.
And it works for me.
If you were to sell it, how much are you looking at, including your accessories and that kind of stuff?
Probably in the region of about 180.
Right, so you can have a Vigo like this for around 180,000 rands. Or you can have a beautiful KZTE for about 120,000 rands. Or if you are not feeling particularly spendy and if you have a strong back, you can go with the solid front axle Hilux for around 80,000 rands. But if you now think, ish, these people just like Toyotas, think again, because later in the program we'll introduce you to two other legendary makes of 4x4s.
That's right, we're giving you two alternatives. Best you get your oil leak detectors ready. Time now to visit Rhino Park east of Pretoria, and that's because they've gotten 4,000 hectares, yes, 4,000 hectares, much bigger.
We featured the Rhino Park venue, situated about 30 kilometers east of Pretoria in the first series. Home of the McCarthy 4x4 Club. We told you about the sand pit, a big old lump of sand in the middle of nowhere that will test drivers and 4x4s alike, especially in the hot summer months. We also told you the club hosts 4x4 training courses, and for this purpose, there are 10 man-made obstacles of various degrees of difficulty. The so-called Valor hosts some more challenging challenges. Here you can test your 4x4's ability to crawl up and down steep and slippery slopes, as well as few axle twisters. Another attraction is the mountain trail. This guided 3-hour trail kicks off with an optional tough old test. From there, the trail winds to more rocky challenges and eventually you end up here. It's one obstacle the trail is best known for. It's another bridge affair. But here you first have to negotiate a steep and rocky descent. Then you have to get your aim spot on. Otherwise, you may be up for an insurance claim. It's still not over. After the bridge crossing, there's still another steep, tricky climb before you are clear of this one. On that note, it's time to introduce you to that part that is new to the Rhino Park, all 4,000 hectares of it. This recent addition features a new trail that is normally rated between 3 and 4, but can turn into a 5 in places when wet. This mountain trail consists of 3 river crossings and some tricky rock driving. The new route can also take you through a camp full of game if you like to point and stare at four-legged creatures. The McCarthy 4x4 Club will soon be introducing a 2-day trail that will include this new section, with the 4x4 group camping along the route or, depending on the weather and requirement, staying over at the clubhouse. As with the rest of the trails, only guided drives are allowed. More standard 4x4s with a transfer case should be able to handle the new route without too much trouble in the dry, thanks to the guides. For more information on the newly expanded Rhino Park 4x4 trail hosted by the McCarthy 4x4 Club, visit our Facebook page.
Time now to introduce you to Project XV.
It's a feisty little Subaru XV crossover, and we are now turning it into the most off-roady XV the world has ever seen, with the help of the 4-wheel drive trucking company. So how do we man up the XV Sam? By adding some different rubber, a front runner roof rack and a few other small upgrades. Watch next week as we reveal how we turned a city slicker XV into one with a bit more boss in its blood. Meanwhile, the mini Arctic Toyota Fortuner has also come along dandily. A few weeks ago, the team fitted a replacement TJM bull bar. This is a more intricate process than just removing the plastic bumper and fitting the metal one. The original bumper is obviously removed first, and then the new bumper is fitted. However, this leaves a big gap between the headlight line and the new bumper, which is fixed by cutting the original bumper to exact measurement to fill in that gap. A front runner roof rack along with its accessories was fitted. This aluminum rack is light and strong, and it even comes with an optional water tank. With the custom-made wheel arches being fitted and the final adjustment made as required, South Africa's first Arctic truck Fortuner is already attracting plenty of attention in the 4-wheel drive trucking company workshop.
Some say it's the best Prado of all time, personally my favorite, and now introducing 120 series V6.
Well, you've seen all the extreme vehicles that we can build. We're here today with the Prado 120, an entry-level car. It's a 2007 model. It's done 200,000 kilos. This vehicle we purchased for 120,000 Rand, and it's a fantastic, a lot of vehicle for what you get. So for under 200,000, you get a vehicle that is really kitted well. This Prado, we fitted a TJM suspension, a set of 285 BF mud terrain tires, a set of mag wheels, and then we also added the air suspension to carry some extra weight with a draw system and a set of seat covers. And all that for under 200k. I think it's a bargain.
Although this Prado is still a work in progress and will still get some more kit, we reckon it looks awesome just like this. Sometimes less is more, and this certainly seems to ring true in this Prado's case. If you can live with the V6 engine's scandalous drinking habits, this Toyota Prado, with upgrades added, offers a compelling option in the sub 300,000 4x4 segment.
Time now for part 2 of our Legend 4x4 special. So yeah, surprisingly, not everybody loves Toyotas. So if you're looking for something smaller, something nippy, something fun, economical, here's a Suzuki Samurai.
It may not quite look the part of a serious 4x4, but this is one serious little 4x4. This SJ413 Samurai is powered by a 1300 engine that delivers just 47 kilowatts of power. That doesn't sound like much, but its predecessor, the SJ410, was powered by a 1000cc engine that had just 34 kilowatts. Getting to 100 kilometers per hour in the SJ410 was considered a great achievement, but off-road the Suzy is king. The SJ413 weighs in at less than a ton and has a solid axle suspension setup, combined with a transfer case and a very good approach and departure angle and agility of a mountain goat in obstacles. It can really go just about anywhere. This unit features a few upgrades to improve it even further, but as you can see, it can literally make a U-turn in obstacles where bigger 4x4s can hardly fit. But over to the owner, Danny Tate, for some background info on the Samurai.
It's a Suzuki Samurai, it's a 1300, 1996 model. That's when I bought it standard. Paid 63 for it. I did a whole host of stuff on it, from the suspension to the shocks to the tires, this rock slide, a whole host of stuff. Probably cost me about the same as the car cost me.
Is that your story?
That's my story, and I'm not prepared to divulge anymore.
It looks very mint, because I would have said 2006, you know, but it looks very mint.
Yeah, I had a couple of them. I stuck with this one. This one was in the best original condition when I bought it.
Oh, okay. I saw there's mongoose on the windscreen. Where does that come from?
Tamila, that's an interesting story.
Okay.
The person that I bought it from
Yeah.
actually bought it under my nose, the 10th, in October 2010.
Mm.
The second time around, 2012, when I bought the car, this person had a little mongoose. When I went to go pick up the car, the mongoose was all around my feet, and when I went down,
You did have a shower that morning.
I did have a shower. And when I
Okay.
went down to go touch the mongoose, the thing bit me. A nice big gash,
Yeah.
and that's where the car got its name, Mongoose.
All right, cool. And Danny, if you had to part with this Butte, how much?
For you, probably somewhere between 80 and 90, but it's difficult because it's an older car, it's a vintage. It's difficult to get a value, but probably between 80 and 90.
Okay. Space-wise, you're not battling. I mean, how easy or difficult is it?
There's sufficient spares all over the show. There's a whole host of people that actually specialize in them and that build them up. So spares are plentiful.
Oh, okay. What do you like? What don't you like about your vehicle?
I like everything about it. The only thing that I don't like is
Packing space.
the packing space. You don't tow a caravan with it.
Yeah, I mean a 1300, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, it's great.
Like I said earlier to you, if it goes missing, you know where to find it.
I will come find you.
All right, thanks a lot,
Not a
Danny.
problem. Thanks, Tamila.
Cool.
Sure, the Suzuki is really like a mountain goat, but what if the Samurai is not quite your cup of tea?
So you don't want a Toyota. You need something with a bit of space and character than the Samurai. You're good with your hands. Why don't you try Defender?
Okay, so the good news is that this particular Defender Kalahari has never left its owner stranded next to the road. What makes it unique is the fact that it's a late model Defender 110, but it's powered by Land Rover's famous TDI engine. The older generation 2.5-litre turbo diesel mill can supposedly run on just about anything, and it has done duty in thousands of military-spec Defenders all over the world. If you want workhorse and tough, this is it. In this limited edition model, you also get an aircon. Wow, which does very well cooling the front seat's occupants' knees. combined with a hardy interior and a no-nonsense exterior, which is strangely easy on the eye. It's a bit like one of those girls that fight in wrestling shows. You're kind of drawn to her because she looks the business, but you're also scared of her because she can easily put you in your place. So attitude, pedigree, and character she has. But what about price? And the rest of the deal?
About 250 of these, give or take, were made. In this condition, stock standard, you're looking at about 200,000. If you're not in a hurry, you want to explore Africa, top speed of 92 kilometers an hour, that's about it.
There is no argument. There is something special and appealing about a landy like this Kalahari that draws you closer like a moth is drawn closer to the flame. But instead of paying 200,000 rands for a pristine model like this, with just over 100,000 kilometers on the clock, you can always get yourself a fixer-upper for next to nothing and restore it back to life. And then possibly face divorce or financial ruin. In the end, the decision of which 4x4 suits you best lies with you and your requirements and the thickness of your wallet.
We've given you 5 different options today. At the end of the day, it's what you want to do with the brand that you want. SUV, 4x4, short wheelbase, long wheelbase, it's up to you really. Your pay is your money, your pick's your choice. Going home now. Sorry babes for driving the Land Rover. Skis man, skis papas, yeah. Next week's episode is our final of the series. We're taking 3 project cars to some undisclosed venue in Mpumalanga. We look at highlights, lowlights. Then of course, Ombeni never got stuck. He never made bloopers. Sure.